Happy morning, children. It's my happy privilege once again to welcome you all for this online class. And today we are continuing with our lesson 1 of civics, and the title of our lesson is State Government. And in the last class, we studied about who is MLA, what is his responsibilities, what is state government, what is central government, and how a candidate or MLA is elected by the people. And today we are continuing with our last lesson. Now we are moving into a new topic, members of the state government. So who are the members involved in the functioning of the state government? So there are three important personalities involved in the functioning of state government. One is the governor, the chief minister, and the council of ministers. So governor is the head of the state. So he has the supreme authority regarding the state government. So first the governor, next the chief minister, then the council of ministers. So who is the chief minister? He is the leader of the party that won majority of the constituencies. Last class we studied about 234 constituencies in Tamil Nadu. So the party which wins over 117 constituencies, they were selected as the majority winners, and the head of that majority party will become the chief minister, and the council of ministers are the MLAs who were elected by the people for those 234 constituencies. So the governor, he is not elected by the people directly. Only the President of India elects governor for a time period of 5 years. So our present President of India is Ramnath Govind. So he selected Panwarilal Purohit as the governor of Tamil Nadu for the term of 5 years. So the leader of the majority party is appointed as the chief minister by the governor for a term of 5 years. Okay, now eligibility for state government. So if you want to become part of state government, you should have some qualifications. So let's see what are those qualifications. If you want to become a governor, the first qualification you needed is you must be the citizen of India, and you should have completed 35 years of age, and you should have sound mind, and also you should not hold any public office of profit. That is, you should not involve in any government jobs. Okay, so to become a chief minister, if you want to become a chief minister, you must be a leader of a specific party that wins the election. Okay, so if you want to become a chief minister, first you must have completed 25 years of age, then you must be the citizen of India, and also you must be the leader of the party which wins majority of constituencies. Okay, so there is these are the three important qualifications for a chief minister. Okay, now we are going to study about MLC, Member of Legislative Council. So the state legislature has two houses. One is upper house and other one is lower house. So this system is called bicameral legislature. So upper house is called legislative council and the members are called members of legislative council or MLCs. So they are not elected by people directly. So there are two divisions in state government, upper house and lower house. Upper house candidates are called MLC, member of legislative council. Lower house candidates are called MLAs, member of legislative assembly. So upper house candidates were not elected by people. Lower house candidates were elected by people directly. Okay, so regarding Tamil Nadu, we don't have bicameral legislature. That is, we don't have two houses. We have only lower house, that is MLAs. We don't have MLCs. Okay, but if you look at our neighboring states, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Odisha, Kerala, they have two houses, upper house and lower house. Upper house will be elected, not elected directly by people, they were selected, and only the lower class MLAs will be elected by the people, like how we have in Tamil Nadu. So we state of Tamil Nadu do not follow the bicameral legislative system. We have only one house, that is the lower house. So the lower house is called legislative assembly. Upper house is called legislative council. We have only legislative assembly. Okay, now we are going to study about functions of governor. That is, what are the authorities of a governor? So he is the integral part of state legislature. So every decisions are based upon his every decision is based upon his aim. Okay, he must have he must be given, he must give permission for each and every decisions made in state government. He is the head of the state executive and he has enormous powers. So all the decisions were made by the governor regarding the state decisions, and all the administration is carried out on his name only. And also he is the chancellor of government universities in the state. So all the government universities in a state comes under the control of the governor. He has the authority to control all the movements of the government universities in the state, and all the bills become law only after his assent. That is, whatever law is enforced in the legislative assembly, any laws made in um, assembly, it becomes law only after he signs the bill. If the governor rejects signing, the decision will never become a law. So we must need the approval of governor to pass any law. He also appoints advocate general. So in high court we have government lawyers, advocates, isn't it? So they were appointed directly by the governor. And also chairman and members of state public service commission. State Public Service Commission is the department which selects people for the government jobs. So these representatives were directly selected by the governor. He also has the authority to select the state election commissioner. So we have a state election commission, isn't it? So the head of the state election commission is selected by the governor, and also vice chancellor of state and universities also were selected by the governor. So these are some of the functions of governor of a state. Now let's focus upon the functions of chief minister. So he is the real executive head of the state administration. So all the decisions made in the assembly were executed under the authority of the chief minister. He must give permission to enforce the decisions. And all the ministers, they work as a team under the chief minister. So all the 234 candidates of each constituencies, they have to work under the chief minister. He becomes the head of all the members of the council, and he formulates programs and policies for the welfare of the people and the state. So the responsibility of the chief minister is to formulate the important and much needed programs and policies for the betterment of the people of the state. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Three main organs of the government. Okay, so there are three important organs for a government. So they are legislative, executive, judiciary. So what is legislative? Legislative means law, that's all. So the legislative assembly forms, makes laws. Okay, executive council, they enforces the law. So whatever laws were made in legislative council, they were executed, they were applied, they were promoted by the executive council. And the judiciary council interprets the law, that is, they maintains the authority of the law. These are the three major organs of the government. Okay, now we focus upon the third organ of the government. Okay, the third organ is the judiciary council. Okay, so in judiciary council, high court is the highest organ at the state level. So at the state level, high court is as the highest judicial authority, and it is an independent body. It never comes under any authority. Okay, so nobody can control the high court. It is an independent body, and as per the constitution, there shall be a high court in each state. So we have 29 states in India, isn't it? So for each and every state, there should be an individual separate high court. So the high court consists of one chief justice, that is, he is the head of all the judges and also other judges. So in a high court, there will be several judges, and there will be the head of the judges assembly. He is called chief justice, and the president appoints the chief justice and holds the office up to 62 years of age. So president has the authority to appoint chief justice of the high court, and he has the authority up to the age of 62 years. Apart from high court, there are other courts. We call them district courts and tribunals. Tribunals means smaller courts which has only one judge. So any small courts that has only one judge, we call them tribunals. District courts means in a state there are several districts. So for each district there will be one individual court. We call it district court. So these court system they ensure justice to the people without any bias. So without any different partialities, the justice is ensured to all the people. So apart from this uh, courts, there is one more court. We call it family court, where uh, the disputes and the problems in marriage and family affairs will be settled. Okay, we call it family court. And there is one system called lok adalat system, that is, it is a people's court. Okay, this is also appointed by the government of India to settle disputes through conciliation and compromise. So if two parties or two individuals had some disputes, okay, so the disputes can be resolved by this lok adalat court by compromising, to by talking with two parties or two individuals and make them to compromise. This is the system of lok adalat. Okay, so that ends our lesson in civics. So we'll meet in the next class.